every 20 minutes. It's your statewide Alabama weathercast.
Good morning, I'm meteorologist James McCombs with the Alabama Weather Network, and we have your mid-morning Alabama forecast. And we start off with the AWN Skywatcher photos that we saw from this past weekend, and some beautiful scenery out there. Leslie Chapman sent this from Lake Martin, so the lake looks nice, but you've got some thunderstorms off in the distance there and a number of miles away, so it's always cool to see that in the summer. Going further to the north, Daniel Harbin in Trenton, which is in the Paint Rock Valley, sent us this picture of the sun going down. You got some clouds there, some sun rays, and this is peeking out from Keel Mountain, I believe, with some nice blue skies there. So beautiful picture there of that. And then Jake Argo at the Coca-Cola Amphitheater in Birmingham, looking off to the west, a sunset storm in the distance, just a beautiful view there before concert was getting started. Satellite and radar across the state this morning, beautiful. Got a few high clouds moving into the northwest, but most places starting off just sunny and dry, and you don't see any radar returns on there, and we're expecting that for the rest of the day today. Huntsville looking beautiful. Again, there's some of those high clouds we just saw on the satellite, but the temperature's at 69 degrees. The dew point is at 52. So that cold front has been through the area already and dropped those dew points. So it's been a kind of a crisp start across the Tennessee Valley. Looking further to the south at Mount Cheaha, looking beautiful there as well. We've reached 70 degrees now, but the dew point's still in the upper 50s, and you got that northeasterly wind there, which again is evidence of the cold frontal passage. As you go further to the south, though, Dozier has not quite seen that passage of the front yet. The temperature's at 82, the dew point's at 72 degrees, and you see those south-southwesterly winds. So the front will be passing through South Alabama later on today, but hasn't all the way gotten through just yet. But what we're watching for today and this week, dew points dropping again, have already dropped in many places, will continue to drop, and will drop further across the state in the southern part of the state later on today. 50s possible for North Alabama early Wednesday. We've already had some of those today, but we expect it to be very widespread as we get into Wednesday morning. And then showers are possible later this week. Rain chances will be kind of on the increase towards the weekend. Could also see a few sprinkles for tomorrow as well, which we'll talk about here in a second. Low temperatures so far today did reach 50s, upper 50s in some spots. 59 degrees in Coleman. It got to 62 in Huntsville. We'll see some of this green up here. 70 in Clanton. Further to the south, mostly in the 70s. We did get a couple of Skywatcher reports. Vic Bell and Black Creek got down to 58 degrees, and Heath Plunkett in Joppa got down to 57 degrees. So again, kind of a cool start in especially the northern area of the state. Temperatures right now, we've gotten into the 70s in the north, 73 in Coleman, 74 in Hamilton. But places down to the south are still already getting into the 80s because the front has not kind of pushed through at least yet, or at least it's done pretty recently in some spots. 80 degrees in Thomasville is where we are now, 84 in Chatham, 83 in Dothan. And then the dew points, again, we're starting to see the low dew points, the drier air creep further to the south. It's 55 in Birmingham, 54 in Coleman, but still in places where the front hasn't quite made it through, still low 70s across the southern tier of the state. Forecast highs for today, a lot of places up in the northern part of the state will be reaching just around 80 degrees, 82 in Gadsden, 82 in Hamilton. Along the southern part of the state, though, and especially towards the coast, still going to get in the low 90s, though, because it'll get warmer before the front gets all the way past there. So expecting to see some fairly warm temperatures again. So basically kind of waiting another day in the southern part of the state before you get that more refreshing afternoon. But forecast lows for tonight looking pretty good across the state. Again, 50s pretty common across the north. Low 60s across the central areas, and then mostly 60s in the south. Still might get down to only 70 or so right there at the coast, but still pretty nice across the state. And then even a little bit cooler for Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. So we'll expect widespread 50s across the northern and central part of the state. Low 60s down into the south central area near Montgomery, Greenville, Thomasville, and then even upper 60s along the coast in Gulf Shores and Orange Beach. So a really cool morning Wednesday for sure. Futurecast for today, expecting again just some clouds moving through, just a few high clouds, mostly sunshine. No rain returns for today. As we get into tomorrow morning, though, we're going to have a reinforcing cold front that's going to bring some reinforcing dry air, a little upper level disturbance, and that will bring some chance of showers as we move through the day on Tuesday for tomorrow. Again, a lot of places are not going to see this. I think, if anything, it'll be fairly light showers. You'll see an increase in cloud cover for sure. So today will definitely be sunnier. We expect Wednesday will be sunnier, but tomorrow will be not quite as sunny as the next couple of days. So it's still pretty comfortable outside of a few sprinkles here and there. And then as we get into Wednesday, again, expecting to clear back out and be pretty nice and dry again. Dew points, Again, you can see that we're expecting to get well into the 50s and even the 40s in some spots as we move through the next couple of days. Eventually starting to see a little bit of the moisture return to the southwest later in the period, but still that's lower than normal down towards the coast. All right, we're keeping our eyes on the tropics, but thankfully there's not nearly as much to look at as there's been in recent times. And then we have the tropical storm Fernand, which is still out there. It's actually gotten a little bit better organized here in the last 12 hours or so, but thankfully, we'll continue to move off to the northeast. It's a 60-mile-per-hour sustained wind tropical storm at this point, and expecting to eventually start to weaken as we get later in the day today, moving off away from land and not any worries to the U.S. And as we look at the development chance for the next week, thankfully, we've got even less chance than what we have seen over the last couple of days with this wave, which is 99L, has really fallen apart over the last 24 hours or so. So the Hurricane Center now has a 0% chance of it forming. You see the little yellow regions actually disappeared this morning as the Hurricane Center updated the forecast. So again, this doesn't look like it's going to do anything at this point as it moves west into the Caribbean. And again, we don't expect any sort of tropical issues in the Atlantic or in the Gulf for sure in the next week. Okay, your 7-day forecast, beautiful looking forecast for North Alabama, expecting again low 80s, maybe even upper 70s for some spots today. And then again, tomorrow a little bit more clouds, the chance of maybe a passing shower or two, but highs only into the upper 70s. There's those cool mornings there, getting down into the 50s. And then as you see, as we head towards the weekend, better chances of rain starting to creep back into the forecast. And then for South Alabama, again, we're expecting we could get into the lower 90s again today before things kind of start to cool down and get drier with the cold frontal passage later on today. And again, even those morning temperatures in the south part of the state are going to be pretty nice into the 60s for this time of year. And again, as we head towards the weekend, increasing rain chances. Well, that'll do it for your Alabama forecast. We'll have another one coming up on the Alabama Weather Network.